Hi, I'm Roberto, and now I want to talk to you about behavioral science. And specifically, I want to talk to you about goal setting, which is actually one of my most favorite, one of my most fundamental behavior change techniques. And despite that, in this video, I will not go in detail about what goal setting can be. And that is actually because I think goal setting can have so many forms. It can help you in so many ways that I will not be able to do that in just one video. But I want to use this time to give you one example of that potential that I think goal setting has, okay? And I will specifically talk about stretch goals, which I think is something that is not usually addressed by the existing approaches that there exist about goal setting. And I'm talking here about approaches from behavioral science or just the typical recommendations that you get when people talk about goal setting. But that's my main reason. I really hope that this example helps you think a bit differently about goal setting if you already are familiar with that, and if not, maybe it will give you a good idea about what goal setting can be or is. And okay, I'm assuming at this point that you have already heard many times maybe about setting smart goals or setting smarter goals or any kind of acronyms that give you some kind of recommendations about what type of goals to set for your personal life or for your profession or for any specific setting, so that they have to be realistic, that they have to be time bound, measurable, these kind of typical recommendations, which I think, I'm not saying they are bad, but they are kind of like the standard package that I think most people can find when they are looking for advice on goal setting. But in this case, like I said, I think the concept of stretch goals is really not usually addressed in these kind of approaches, okay? So that's why I think it's a good example of the real potential of goal setting. But let's get to the point. Basically, stretch goal is defined basically how it's named is kind of designed to stretch thinking. It's kind of designed to get you thinking outside the box. So by definition, it's a very, very hard goal. A very hard goal that is maybe even impossible to achieve with the current setup, with the current resources that you might have in a specific situation. So you have to think of a stretch goal as a very, very hard, almost impossible goal, okay? And the question here is, why will someone ever do that? Why will we set a really hard goal, a really impossible goal? Why will we do that intentionally? And well, I already mentioned it. Basically, the idea is that these types of goals are designed to promote radical thinking. They are designed to get you thinking outside the fixed approach that, like I said, many of us maybe have already experienced about goal setting, and that we have kind of practiced or have been taught, and maybe sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So the idea of a stretch goal is kind of radical in that sense also, that it gets you to think, okay, what do you want? Even though it might look or seem impossible right now, what is one goal that you will potentially like to achieve? And remember here, again, I am talking about behavioral science. This is not something I made up. The concept of stretch goals is out there, and there is a lot of robust evidence about goal setting. But yeah, okay, stretch goals are something that I think is in the latest years catching up, or it has been studied in a few cases, and I will put some references about that in the description in case you are interested. But it is definitely a concept that is not there yet fully integrated in what we know about goal setting from a behavioral science perspective. So anyway, I just want to stress here that this is something that is definitely worth trying. It's definitely maybe a new recommendation that you have never heard before, and I will try to put it in kind of easier terms, and I will try to give you a main recommendation about what I think you should do. Basically, if you are setting goals for yourself, for self-improvement or for your profession, or maybe goals for a team that you're managing, or any kind of context that it could be applied or could be improved with goal setting, my recommendation is this: try to include all kind of difficulties of goals in your goal setting plan or in your goal setting program. Basically, I'm saying don't get fixated on the typical recommendation to set up doable but challenging goals. Okay, that's kind of what usually you will hear. Yeah, you should set some difficult goal, but that is still kind of reachable. That's fine, you should have those, but you should also have easy goals, the ones that will give you a boost, the one that gets you through the day. And now I'm also suggesting to you that you try to set a stretch goal. Okay, try to set a very hard goal, a goal that might be impossible with the current state that you are in, but maybe it gets you thinking about how you can get into that state, and maybe it becomes possible later on. But you have to play with this level of difficulties of the goals you're setting. You should not be fixated on a specific level of difficulty. First of all, because it's very, very difficult to actually think about what's the perfect level of challenge that you should set. This is always changing. There are so many contexts, so many situations. So just take this home message that I'm giving you, okay? Just try to think and try to have different level of difficulties in the goals that you have. If currently you think about it, you only have easy goals, try to increase the challenge. If you have kind of too hard goals, try to also include the easy ones. But make sure that you have all of these difficulties covered, you know, and it's always good to have this variety of goals. And you don't be afraid, like I'm saying now, to set up a stretch goal. Okay, so that is really the main message that I wanted to give you now. I really hope that you try to avoid getting fixated in a single approach to goal setting. In future videos, I am looking forward to talk more about this because, like I said, it's one of my most fundamental techniques, and I would also like to know how other people use it. But this is a widely known behavior change technique or behavior change strategy, depending how you see it. So anyway, I hope this brief introduction and the idea of a stretch goal helps you. And as you know, this is about sharing, this is about learning, practicing, about mastering these kind of behavior change techniques. And that is what self-primacy is about. So please, if you are interested in this topic, support me by liking the video, by subscribing, or by following me on my social media platforms. And if you have any questions about goal setting or about any other kind of topic that you would like to hear about, please let me know and I will try to address it because I'm really, really interested into this and I want to talk to you about all these topics. So that's it. I hope to see you soon and thanks for watching the video.